If you've looked at your grocery receipt recently and literally felt your jaw hit the floor, well, you are in exactly the right place. Because when everyday staples like eggs jumped nearly 60% in a single year, it's time to stop blaming that vague, mysterious cloud that everyone just broadly calls inflation. Today in this explainer, we're going to track the actual dollars and cents. We're pulling back the curtain to unmask the real invisible force that's driving up your checkout total. I mean, it's a serious question, right? Have you ever felt like you need to take out a second mortgage just to buy the basics? You see, there is this massive disconnect right now. You've got the standard, smoothed out inflation metrics they report on the evening news on one hand, and then you have the localized, compounding reality you faced right at the grocery store checkout on the other. Our goal today is to act like your personal, highly enthusiastic CPA and figure out exactly why dinner is suddenly costing an absolute fortune. And spoiler alert, we've all been looking at the wrong culprit entirely. Section 1. The real grocery thief. Okay, let's dive into this. The true invisible thief stealing from your wallet every single week is something called the diesel dividend. Now, to be clear, this isn't a dividend that pays you. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. It's a structural cost you are paying. You see, global energy supply constraints don't just stay isolated at the oil well or the refinery. They immediately reshape domestic agricultural economics. Your grocery bill is no longer just about the price of food. It has transformed into a direct reflection of energy policy in disguise. I really want this point to sink in, so I'm going to say it again. Food prices are a direct reflection of energy policy in disguise. We aren't just dealing with a simple case of supply and demand for wheat or dairy here. In this explainer, we are going to trace the exact path from global energy production through those incredibly complex supply chains all the way directly to your dinner table. Once you see the slow motion chain reaction clearly, you're going to understand exactly why the food inflation we are experiencing isn't just a temporary blip. It's systematically built into the system, and honestly, it's just getting started. Section 2. From dirt to dashboard. Let's move to and see how this builds across the whole agricultural process. Think about where your food actually starts. I mean, before a seed even gets put into the dirt, we already have these compounding energy inputs. Step 1. The fertilizer used to grow the crops. It doesn't just use natural gas for heat. Natural gas is literally the chemical feedstock for ammonia-based fertilizers. Step 2. Once the crops are growing, they need to be tended to and harvested by massive industrial tractors. And what do those run on? Diesel fuel. Step 3. Farmers simply cannot absorb these massive compounding energy inputs themselves. They absolutely have to pass those costs down the line just to stay operational. And just how massive are those costs? Well, in a single year, we've seen diesel prices jump by nearly 60%. 60%. Now consider margin compression for a second. Agriculture operates on notoriously thin margins anyway. A 60% spike in a farmer's primary operational input leaves absolutely zero room for them to absorb the hit. It mandates an immediate cost pass-through. This creates a staggering, unavoidable energy tax for farmers just to get their seeds in the dirt, and it instantly gets baked into the wholesale price of the food they're growing. Section 3. The trucking toll. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the single number fuels a slow-motion chain reaction across the entire country. Once the food is grown, the expensive journey has only just begun. The overwhelming majority of the trucks required to take that food from the farm to your local store run on diesel. And not long ago, truck diesel hit a staggering record high near $5.81 a gallon. That isn't just a painful number at the pump. When you multiply that $5.81 figure across the thousands of logistical miles the average grocery item travels before it ever reaches the shelf, it becomes the fuel for the massive chain reaction hitting your wallet. Let's make this concrete. Let's trace a literal tomato to your salad bowl to see how this works. By the time you pick up that tomato at the grocery store, you weren't just paying for the tomato. You were paying for the fuel in the tractor that harvested it. You're paying for the natural gas energy that went into the fertilizer to grow it. And here is the kicker. You were paying for the incredibly expensive diesel in the delivery truck that brought it to your town, plus the energy-intensive cold chain refrigerated logistics required to keep it fresh. That means it was burning diesel even while just sitting in the truck. Every single energy input along the way has been fully absorbed into the final price tag of that one simple tomato. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what economists mean when they throw around the term second-round inflation. It is a delayed price hike in essential goods. It's delayed because of the timeline. It takes time to fertilize, grow, harvest, and transport the food. The energy spiked months ago, but you, the consumer, are only paying for it today because of these long agricultural and logistical harvest cycles. The price hike is significant, and it's caused entirely by those earlier, unavoidable energy inputs in farming and transportation. You don't always feel the energy spike immediately at the grocery store. You feel it right here in this second round. Section 4. The hidden tax. So the crucial point is understanding the fundamental difference between a standard tax and an energy tax. Look, when you pay a standard government tax, that money theoretically goes toward funding government programs, or maybe it comes back around as stimulus checks. But this hidden tax at the checkout counter, that extra money you are paying, doesn't go to a program. It is essentially deadweight loss. It evaporates into the ether of operational friction. It acts as a silent wealth transfer, disappearing from your pocket and your local community entirely, simply vanishing into higher energy costs. And the ripple effects of this vanishing money, they are absolutely immense. Food is an inelastic necessity. You have to buy it regardless of the price, right? Because this hidden tax drains your wallet for the absolute necessities, it becomes a massive drain on your discretionary spending. When everyone has less money to spend on services, retail, and entertainment, it starves the rest of the consumer economy, threatening a broader economic stall. And because these compounding energy costs take time to fully cycle through the agricultural and transportation systems, this delayed second-round food inflation is truly just getting started. The next time you see gas prices tick upward, don't just look at your car's gas tank, look at your dinner plate, because the seeds for next year's grocery bill are literally being planted at the pump today. I want to know, how much has your weekly grocery bill jumped lately? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay ahead of all this economic theater. As this cycle of second-round inflation continues to quietly turn, the real question isn't just why your bill is higher today, but rather, are you prepared for the next harvest?